the Minister representing the Premier of Western Australia. We are Australian citizens of South Sudanese origin. We have come here today in this Parliament to present to you our cries for help in Southern Sudan. Southern Sudan was part of Sudan. In 2011 it got its independence and became Southern Sudan. Since independence in 2011, the country has been ravaged by conflicts between the two parties, that is SPLA in government and SPLA in opposition. As a result, Minister, of the conflict between the two parties, many of our children, many of our mothers, brothers and sisters have been targeted, they have been killed, they have been raped. Women and young girls have been gang raped. Houses have been burned. The little food that they have has been looted by we so-called in Southern Sudan unknown gunmen. Now, because of that, we South Sudanese who are Australian citizens here have been impacted by what is happening back home. Because we have our mothers, we have our brothers, our sisters and other relatives in Southern Sudan that are affected. We are not able to sleep in our houses peacefully because we think of what is happening to them. People are sleeping in buses because they fear to be killed in cold blood. The very government that we elected, who are supposed to help us, to protect us, the citizens, are the one killing the citizens in Southern Sudan. For that reason, therefore, we have come to present our petition to the Premier of Western Australia and to the Parliament of Western Australia. In Africa, they say charity begins at home. We know you cannot help us, but we need to bring our cry to you so that you understand what is it exactly that we are afraid of that is impacting on us. That's why we have given a copy of the petition to be taken to the Foreign Minister for Federal Government to be handed to you, and then another copy that will be given to the Foreign Minister later. So on behalf of Southern Sudanese who are peace lovers, that's why we are here today, and we need Australian government to be able to lobby United Nations Security Council to send an intervention force in Southern Sudan for the sake of protecting civilians. We know Australian government can do so much, but with the lobby and the pressure on the government, they can be able to help us so that we help ourselves sleep in peace in our houses here in Australia, not worrying for our brothers and sisters back home. Thank you so much for coming out to receive our petition. We've got our young girl here to present that petition to you on behalf of the South Sudanese community to be handed to the Premier. Thank you.
Thanks everybody for coming. I recognize the importance of the issue. Many of you came to Western Australia, to Australia to flee tyranny. There was great hopes for the new nation of South Sudan to put the terrors of the past aside. I understand it is not working out, and I fully understand that as you sit here in blessed WA of peace and tranquility, back home, your friends and relatives are being ravaged. And I understand how it pressures you and how one you want to help. I am a state member. What I will do is present this to the Premier, and urge him to present it to the foreign minister, the Honorable Julie Bishop, and she can then take it up. It's a federal issue, as you know. I congratulate you of coming out here today to represent not only your own concerns, but the people back home. We all wish that sense would prevail, that bygones will be bygones. Clearly it hasn't in South Sudan, and something needs to be happening. There's no excuse for this. You haven't gone through the process, so thank you for putting it together. I receive it, I will present it to the Premier, and he will no doubt present it to the Foreign Minister. Please go to the Foreign Minister directly yourself and do the same. It's her responsibility.
Thank you so much. I think, may I please acknowledge the presence of the opposition leader, Mark McGowan. I've spoken before saying that these are Australian citizens of South Sudanese origin. Because of what is happening back in Southern Sudan, our mothers, brothers, sisters, parents and relatives who are dear to us have been killed in cold-blooded, targeted, looted, gang rape of women and young children. Because of that, we have come here to present a petition, as I've said, so that Australian government with the United Nations Security Council can be able to lobby for an intervention force to protect our citizens back in Southern Sudan. And we also have a copy of the same petition that is to be given to you, Mr. Mark McGowan.
You're so impressive. Give yourselves a big cheer. It's fantastic that you have taken the time out of, I know, your busy lives and all of your commitments to come here. And what is really great is that we have the Minister for Multicultural Interest and the opposition leader here, and to show you that Australia both stands in a bipartisan, so both parties, to support you in your struggle for human rights and peace in South Sudan. I saw this morning that they have committed more UN forces, peacekeeping forces into South Sudan. And it's because of voices like yours, strong voices like yours, that has happened. And so, all power to you for coming here today, all power to you for taking up, this strong commitment. I did tell you on Sunday that I also have spoken to the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Julie Bishop's office, and I know that they're waiting for the letter, and we will work very hard for you both to meet with representatives of the federal government and also of the federal opposition. And I did tell you that I have spoken to the shadow spokesperson for Foreign Affairs, Penny Wong, about this issue as well. So, I just want to note that, with Mark here and with the Minister Nahan here, so the leader of the opposition and the Minister for Multicultural Affairs, that we do know that it not only affects you in terms of your families in South Sudan, but it affects your well-being and your health and your capacity to work in Australia and in Western Australia. We know that it is almost re-traumatising many of you, and I think you should stay strong, stay hopeful, stay in your faith that peace will come and that South Sudan can be a strong country that you all hope for and pray for. So well done for coming today.
Thanks everyone for coming out today to Parliament to voice your concerns in relation to what's happening in South Sudan. I listened to Janine, and Janine has been a very strong advocate for the issues that you're talking about. I can't begin to imagine how terrible it must be to have family and friends and communities back home who are going through this sort of trauma this sort of fear, these sorts of threats, and these horrible events going on in South Sudan. I understand that must be, as I said, it's beyond my understanding, but it must be absolutely traumatic and terrible for South Sudanese living in Australia. You have every right to come out here and express your concern, and every right to come along and say to the West Australian Government and the Australian Government that you'd like to see some action. And the good thing about Australia, and the thing we should do, is stand up for what's right, and stand up for what's good. We live in a very, very fortunate country. We live in a very, very wealthy country. And we've got to use the capacity that we have and the authority that we have around the world, both with the United States, with Europe and with the UN, to ensure that the right thing is done. And I would... Because otherwise, what's the point of having all those alliances and all that goodwill in the world if you don't use it? And using it for the right purposes, which is ensuring human rights and women and children and communities, the sick and the old, the defenceless are protected from shocking behaviour is the sort of thing that Australia should enforce. So can I congratulate you on what you're doing, and can I wish you all the best in the campaign. We will pass on again our views in relation to this issue to anyone at a national level we can speak to. And indeed, when I'm meeting with any representatives of the Consular Corps or the like, I'll make sure that these concerns are expressed. And keep up the fight. In the end of the day, when you fight hard enough for long enough and you do the right thing, pretty much you're always successful. So all the best.